Hey guys, so today we're going to do another tier list instead of doing a top 10 video. I think the meta is in still a pretty good spot, and I think if I were to do just a traditional top 10 rankings, there would probably be just too many shared positions or interchangeable positions to where it doesn't really make sense, I don't think, to do things that way. So this is the last tier list that I made. This was the tier list that I made. I think it was right when Blue Gogeta and the Blue Tag Goku and Vegeta got their Zenkai Awakenings. So it's been a little bit. I mean, this was the beginning of January, so it's basically a month later since I did this. We've had two major releases, Gohan and Trunks and Fusion Zamasu. And let's go ahead and sort of take a look here. The reason why I like this site actually is because it saves my previous list. So I literally just loaded up this page and it has this save from last time, which kind of makes things easier for me. I don't really think this video is going to be super long. I can just go through this and just move around the characters that I want. And then I think at the end of the video, we'll go down here and take some of the new characters, starting from Gohan and Trunks. We have 4 new characters here, and I'll put them on the list. I think what I'll do, though, is I don't really want to do all these tiers every single time. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete, I think, probably everything except for the top 3 tiers, Z, S, and A tier. I don't know, what we should rename these. Great. What, like very good and good? That's what we'll say. Great, very good, and good. And then we'll probably get rid of B, C, D, and E tiers. Is there anybody from B, C, D, and E that I would want to move up into the good tier before I delete this? Definitely no one from E. Definitely nobody from D. C, no. So, you know, we've had more time to experience the Zenkai for Goku and Vegeta. I think I'm pretty content with them in C tier here. B tier. Would I move anybody from B tier into good? No, 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 no. By the way, I should also preface this. I should preface this by saying this is standard. I'm using the same ranking standards that I use for my top 10 lists, where it's 14 stars, best teams, and it is standard ranked PvP, not proud. I think if I were to do a proud ranking, first of all, I don't really have enough experience in proud, I think, to confidently rank every character in that mode, because I just don't play the mode enough to do that. But I think my rankings would certainly change. I'll just give a spoiler. If we were doing proud, I think I actually would have this guy here. He would be in great, Fusion Zamasu. But I think I'd have him at a different ranking in this list. Well, you know, let me just move these guys up here so it's easier to get them. But I think this character, and the reason why, let me pull him up here. The reason why I would have him much higher if this is based off of proud is simply because of how ridiculous this is in proud. This. Destroying 3 Dragon Balls with a green card, that single-handedly could win you like many matches, just that ability alone on this character. So I think I would actually move him up into great. And then also just the entire dynamic of proud is different too. You don't have as many Zenkai buffs. Everything is doing more damage. You can probably make a little bit more use of his of Fusion Zamasu's defensive gauge as well. But I'm not going to really go into proud really that much, because again, I don't play it as much as I would need to in order to rank things accurately. And that's just not the way I've always ranked things, and so I want to just be consistent with that. This Vegeta is another character that I think I'd rank much higher if I were doing it based off of proud, because of the same reason. The Dragon Ball destruction when he dies is just insanely good in proud, just because of how often proud matches go to timer, right? They're 60 counts shorter than regular matches, so Dragon Ball destruction means you could essentially just completely prevent your opponent from even just rising rushing once in the match. So I probably wouldn't move him up. No. You're interesting. Definitely not Super 17. Sort of hope Trunks. No, maybe. We'll do this for now. Is there anybody in good that I would move down? Maybe Tree of Might. Tree of Might is not in the greatest position right now. we have a lot of characters that are immune to card destruction, which is one of the stronger abilities he has, is just to be constantly destroying cards with his gauge. Definitely not able to take hits as well as he used to. And just overall, I feel like his impact is significantly less than it was probably when I made this. Is it that much less? I mean, he's not as effective against Zamasu, obviously. Not as effective against these guys. Pretty good against 17, but I don't really know if that matters as much. I think I actually will move him down to like B. By the way, the order in the tiers, probably not gonna have that matter too much, so I wouldn't really look at those. What does this look like? Yep. I think this guy probably belongs in good. You. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. Let's delete these. Delete row. Okay. So these are really going to be the tiers that I focus on here. Let's just, like, I guess, quickly go through each character, and I'll give my thoughts on what's changed for them. Beast Gohan. By the way, I'm not like, this is not something I've like pre-thought out of where I'd move characters. I'm doing this all on the fly, so I'm essentially just speaking my mind here. Beast Gohan, I don't really think has changed all that much. He's still obviously going to be at least in the great tier. His matchup against Fusion Zamasu, I don't feel like is even that bad. He's immune to card destruction, which is one of the big selling points of his defensive gauge. Beast Gohan's type neutral, which means he's not going to get clobbered by him. So Zamasu's susceptible to the disrupt. Zamasu dies in one shot to the special beam cannon like the entire rest of the game anyway. I don't really think much has changed with this character's release for Beast Gohan. Future Gohan and Trunks could be, I don't know if I want to say they could be an argument for why you maybe move him down. I don't think I would, but they at least have a way to defend against Beast Gohan's special beam cannon. These guys have a way to remove attribute downgrades to be able to actually combo against him and easily use up his disrupt early in the fight. Of course, 1/3 of the character, I guess I'll say, is purple, so that's, you know, not a great thing for Beast, or when matched up against Beast, but I think this is a solid character against Beast for sure, but nothing to move him out of the spot. Daima Goku, I actually think, does probably take a hit here, just because his matchup against this character is pretty bad. This release, Gohan and Trunks, is a pretty bad matchup for Daima Goku. And really, up until this character dropped, the only character Daima Goku was like, I don't want to call him powerless, but he really couldn't do much to them, was Turles. Would I want to move him out of great? I think I would actually move him out of great. I think I would move him down to very good. Daima Goku's kit is insane, but he's got a little bit of a tougher time if you're fighting Future Gohan and Trunks, and me personally, I have fought a lot. Future Gohan and Trunks is one of the most common characters I've encountered. I think just their new succession mechanic was pretty popular for people to summon on. The animations are really good, and overall, just Future Gohan's a popular character in general. So I think I'll move him down here to very good. It's close, though. I think you could kind of make an argument either way. Majin Vegeta, I don't think I would move down. I mean, you know, Zamasu could do some stuff against him, but it's Majin Vegeta, right? I mean, Gotenks. This is a really hard one for me. Gotenks doesn't have as bad of a matchup against Future Gohan and Trunks as Daima Goku does, because Gotenks is going to be type neutral defensively against Future Gohan, so we can at least sit in there and eat a few hits from him. But I think Gotenks probably has a worse time against this guy than Daima Goku does, because Daima Goku could theoretically hit this guy twice, lock him in, and just kill him before the gauge activates. Gotenks is a combo unit. Gotenks is predicated upon doing combos, filling up the gauge, supporting the team, drawing green cards, getting Vanish back, and then supplying the rest of your characters with green cards and being able to swap in and out pretty fast and stuff like that. That's the nature of the character. So he actually could get tripped up a little bit against Fusion Zamasu's gauge. And he doesn't have, I wouldn't say he has a good matchup against Future Gohan and Trunks, but it's not like terrible. Is it enough to move him out of great? I want to move him here. I feel like we probably could move him into very good. I think I'll move him down to very good for now, but it is like, if you want to put him here, I have certainly no issues with that at all. if you want to put him here, no issues. It really could go either way. I think just for me, he's definitely gone out a little bit from the last list and the last time we did this, so I'll put him in very good for now. Maybe we'll adjust this later. I'll take a look at it again. All right, so now we have Super Saiyan 3 Goku. I really don't think any of the releases here have hurt this guy whatsoever, so I'm just going to leave him in great. This is also a character that probably takes the least amount of brain cells to operate out of any unit on this. I actually think this guy takes less brain cells than Majin Vegeta. This character is one of the easiest characters of all time to use. You literally just press the rectangles on your screen and that's it. You don't actually need to like swipe the screen. You don't need to charge step. You don't need to sidestep. You simply just press rectangles on the screen, and that's how you use this character. And he kills everything. So I'm obviously going to leave him in great. God Goku has a pretty good matchup against Future Gohan and Trunks, and he's got, you know, I wouldn't say a good or bad matchup versus Fusion Zamasu. The one thing that God Goku does have against Fusion Zamasu's gauge in particular is God Goku can be immune to ki reduction, which can really help against Fusion Zamasu's gauge, and God Goku does have the ability to do massive amounts of damage in very few cards, which is the same argument I was making for Daima Goku, which means that in just like 1 or 2 cards, Daima Goku can really put the pressure on this character to switch instead of allowing him to sit in there and just like get value out of his gauge. So I think I'm actually going to move God Goku up to great. I think he's had a really good impact on the meta. It's kind of crazy to even think about the fact that this guy's in here, but he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Gogeta Blue, I don't think I'd move him out of very good. Obviously not a great matchup versus Fusion Zamasu, but this guy can do so much damage that I think you actually could probably punch through just Fusion Zamasu's defense with him. Certainly against Future Gohan and Trunks, this guy could do incredible amounts of damage. I don't really think he was too severely impacted by either of these releases. I would actually probably say on the contrary, to Fusion Zamasu in particular, you like cover change with Gogeta Blue against Fusion Zamasu, and a lot of times I'm using Fusion Zamasu against the Gogeta Blue and my combo instantly ends. Like I have 1 times card draw speed, Gogeta Blue comes in, I have -1 card draw speed, and my blast cards are sealed, and I just all of a sudden can't draw a card, I can't combo, I can't fill up my gauge, I can't continue to attack. So that's a lot of times what actually happens with Gogeta Blue switching in against Fusion Zamasu, even though you would think that he would crush Gogeta. It's not the case a lot of the time. Clearly, it's, you know, type advantage is going to trump Gogeta at the end of the day, but it's not as bad of a matchup as you would think. I'm going to keep him in very good. Vegito Blue. This is a really hard one for me, actually. I don't think I would move him up to great. I don't think I would. But I think he definitely is kind of annoying to fight against with Fusion Zamasu, just because Fusion Zamasu, if you get afflicted by healing debuffs, and Vegito Blue can do that with his green card, which he literally, if you're using him on the correct build, Vegito Blue will just constantly have greens. It's really annoying for Fusion Zamasu, and I think Vegito Blue also has a pretty good matchup versus Future Gohan and Trunks. So I think Vegito Blue actually right now is in a pretty good position. I'm not going to move him up to great, because I think he's probably like top of very good, or maybe like somewhere in here if I was going to order things, but he's really good. He's really good. Turles, I don't think I'd really do much for him. He's one of the few like good blue characters right now. I don't think I'd move him down to good. I don't think I'd move him up to great. I know I don't think I would. I know I wouldn't move him up to great. He's just very solid. He's holding on to his position as one of the better characters in the game, as an ultra that dropped. When did he drop? Back in like September. So I mean, you know, we're talking October, November, December, January. We're now in February. Almost 5 months since he's dropped, and he's still pretty strong, still pretty good. Yeah, I could definitely see this guy maybe dropping to good soon, but as it stands right now, I think I'd probably keep him in very good. I think he's still deserving of being in here. This is a very divisive character. This is Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I would not move him up an entire tier, but this guy's value is pretty crazy right now. I would have him, you know, somewhere in here, I would say. He's really good. Definitely not moving him down to good, but I think keeping him somewhere in like the middle of very good is probably what I would do. Tamagami number 3 is still really good. still really solid. Even with these two behemoth yellow characters running around, I keep him in good. Omega is just kind of sitting here waiting for him to get a better team. as sad as it sounds, I don't think I wouldn't move him up at all, obviously, but I think he's probably good enough to deserve being in like the good tier. Ultimate Gohan. Would I move Ultimate Gohan down? Certainly wouldn't move him up. Ultimate Gohan is certainly starting to show his age on the defensive end of things, right? Even against type neutral. Type neutral, Fusion Zamasu does tons of damage to him. Future Gohan and Trunks type neutral does tons of damage to him. You talk about someone like, even like God Goku, where he's like, what is like the 3 or 5 count window of him going type neutral when he fills his gauge up. He can destroy Ultimate Gohan. It's hard. I feel like, you know, Ultimate Gohan is very old. He's, well, in terms of how this game likes to classify characters as old, he is pretty old. He's like 8 months old now, or 9 months old, or whatever. So I don't know. I probably wouldn't move him out of good, but he'd be on like the lower end of good if I had to rank the spots in here. Fusion Zamasu is, I think, perfectly suited for the good tier. I think this Rose is perfectly suited for the good tier. And then like Supreme Kai and Mai, these are just really solid 1% banner characters. I wouldn't put them on the same level as Tamagami number 3, but I do certainly think these guys are very good 1% Sparkings that, you know, you can actually see them in competitive PvP. Like, you go into a God rank fight, and it's not uncommon to run into somebody running Mai. I definitely see Mai way more often than Supreme Kai, but I think Supreme Kai is doing a lot to help the rest of the team, and he's just really annoying to fight against. So I think he's like, you know, good enough to be sort of like mid, no, not even like mid, like low to mid tier in this row right here, in the good row. So I think I'm pretty confident with this list. I think if you were going to move Gotenks up to great, I could see it. Wouldn't really have an argument with that. Even like Daima Goku being up here, I could see it. But I think me personally, these are the 4 characters right now to me that are the most impactful. I guess not counting the new units, which we're about to talk about here. So I think, what should we do? Should we go in order from oldest to newest? We can start with 18, I guess. I'm not going to put 18 on here because I don't think she is good enough to deserve being in the good tier. I think I probably wouldn't put her in here. I understand that she does make 17 a lot better. Obviously, getting the ability to just permanently nullify endurance is very strong, but I don't think it's worth putting her on the team because she's just not contributing enough. She's giving support. She has, you know, not a very easy way of getting cover. She has to use a green. She doesn't have great defenses. She doesn't have great disrupt. I think there's, you know, it's tough to justify her including her on a lot of the better competitive meta teams right now. So I don't think I'd put her in this at all. And also, I think the major issue I have with running both 17 and 18 is that means you're going to be running 2 characters without blast armor, which, at least for my playstyle and the way that I like to play, and for the way that I think most people play the game, considering most of the best characters in the game have blast armor, you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage if you're using 2/3 of your team without blast armor. So it's just, you know, I'm not a huge fan of that, but 18 is not a bad unit, but I don't think I'd put her in the good tier. 17, I guess we'll just do the banner units first because we're already talking about 17. 17 is very good even if you don't have 18, or if you're not going to be using 18. I think I would certainly have 17 at least on here. The question is, am I going to put him in good or very good? Man, I actually might put him in very good. He is very good. He is very good. The biggest asset that I think 17 brings to the table is just the multiple ultimates, which allow you to free up a rush or another ultimate to take out Beast. Whenever I get 17 in, yeah, he's got Covernull, he's drawing cards, he's drawing a green card, he's getting the ultimate. Like, they were very methodical with the way that they designed 17. And I think a lot of it had Beast Gohan in mind. And very clearly a lot of it had Majin Vegeta in mind. So he actually has very strong tools, even though he's a purple character, against the 2 like behemoths here. The 2 behemoth yellow ultra characters, Majin Vegeta and Beast. The anti-auto counter gauge mechanic that he has, where he's sealing Majin Vegeta's blue cards, he's healing himself, he's going type neutral. And then the same thing against Beast too, right? Against Beast, he's drawing an ultimate. He's basically allowing himself to just get rid of Beast's Gauge, which is really strong. He's healing himself. He is, supporting the team when he uses the ultimate. And then usually what happens is 17 will then eat like a lot of damage from Beast, but 17 then has a massive heal the next time he gets hit because he's going to be under 50% health. And it really does, I think, work really well for 17. I think 17 right now probably is the best 1% sparking in the game. I think I probably do like him over Tamagami. Do I? Dude, it's so close. Should I put Tamagami in here too? Very good. I think I might move him up here. He is really good. I think I like 17 maybe a little better. Tamagami, I mean, they're obviously different units. Tamagami is more of a defensive character. He's also supporting. He's supporting probably a little bit more easily because he's just giving 30%, but it is only two specific category or specific tags, right? This Tamagami number 3 is only supporting Daima and Weapon Wielder. To be fair, if you're using Tamagami, you're probably only going to be using characters on Daima. And well, that's not true because you're going to be using him in leader, right? And then you're probably going to be running him with Daima Goku and then plus another Saiyan character who's probably not going to be getting supported. So yeah, I mean, he has easier access to support, but 17 support is for all allies. So you're going to need to use both the ultimates before you get the full support from 17, but he's supporting the whole team regardless of the tags they have. Yeah, it's close actually. I think both these characters are really well designed 1% sparkings. I don't know. I think I actually will have Tamagami in very good. I'm going to move him up here. These to me are very clearly the two best 1% sparkings that exist right now. All right, so now we're going to get to the new LF characters. We have Future Gohan and Trunks. This is also a tough one. I think I actually am going to put Future Gohan and Trunks in great. I think they'd probably be like the lower end of great, but they are probably good enough to be in here. It's very close, but I think like these three characters, Future Gohan and Trunks, Daima Goku, and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, I think they're all like around the same level. They're at least all in the same ballpark, kind of. But I think the way that the meta is right now with Future Gohan and Trunks having, out of these three characters, the only reliable way to defend against Special Beam Cannon. And when I say defend against the Special Beam Cannon, I don't mean like, oh, they're gonna like survive the Special Beam Cannon and then use their succession mechanic. What typically happens is when you know the opponent Beast Gohan has a Special Beam Cannon ready, you preemptively are going to switch into this character, and then what that means is the opponent Beast Gohan typically just doesn't use the Special Beam Cannon. That's what I mean by quote-unquote defending against it. I don't mean they actually eat the Special Beam Cannon. I mean they are, in a sense, preventing the opponent Beast Gohan, or I guess disincentivizing the opponent Beast Gohan from even using the Special Beam Cannon, because a lot of times they wouldn't want to use it if they know that all they're going to be doing with it is popping a succession or basically a revival mechanic for you. So this is a strong character for that regard. Again, them having ways to proactively clear their debuffs is a really, really big deal. Double card draw speed, they have ways to draw greens constantly, and when you go into Trunks after the succession, he's got a lot of damage. He does a lot of damage. The only downside to this character is they really don't have great disrupt, right? God Goku has pretty solid disrupt, Majin Vegeta has great disrupt, Beast Gohan has great disrupt. The only other character in great that doesn't really have, quote unquote great disrupt, I guess, is Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but he is just like I don't even know what's a good analogy for Super Saiyan 3. He's just like a bulldozer. Like you just get into Super Saiyan 3, you have a full gauge, you just click, 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 click. Oh, the opponent's dead. Okay, well that's GG, right? Future Gohan and Trunks aren't as offensively oppressive as Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but they also definitely don't have the greatest disrupt, but they have a very well-designed kit. They got 2 lives, they have easy access to card draw speed. Sometimes things could be a little bit challenging for them with Cover Null, but that's, I think, typically a lot of times you can avoid that right now. We are still in a meta where characters mostly have strike cover changes, right? Strike cover change plus gauge. This guy's got a strike cover change before he transforms, but got a blast one afterwards. But typically, even when you're in with this character or you got this guy on your team, you don't want to cover change with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku typically, because his disrupt is not strong enough. Strike cover change, strike cover change, strike, 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 strike. Blast! That's another positive for this guy. Strike. So most of them, we can even continue here. Strike, this guy's got a blast one. Strike, 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 strike. So like every character essentially has a strike cover change. So even if you don't have like 100% uptime on cover null, a lot of times you can get away with just, you know, not having cover null and using blast cards because the opponent's really not gonna, for the most part, be able to deal with that. But I do think they are good enough to be in the great tier here, so that's cool for them. All right, and then finally we have Fusion Zamasu. I have talked at length about my issues with the character. I think the biggest issue I have, well, not the biggest issue I have in terms of like mechanics, but the biggest problem I have with his design overall is just that there are actually like 8 different things that they could have done to help this character feel a little bit more complete, a little bit better, and they just didn't do any of them, right? Typically when a new character releases, I can look at them and be like, okay, this guy has, you know, 95% of what he's doing is really insane, but there's 1 or 2 things that he could have had to make him even better. This guy's doing a lot of good things, but you know, there's like 1 main thing they could have done and 2 less important things they could have done to make him better. For Zamasu, I made a video where I talked at, it was like 50 minutes, talked at length about this character and what I think they could have given him to make him feel better and operate better and work more fluidly. And it was like 7 or 8 things in the video. And that's just never how it works for new premium summonable ultras or LF characters. But I think he's, you know, he's not like terrible. I think his design kind of actually is terrible, but him as a character, I don't think he's terrible. I'm going to put him in very good. I'm not going to put him in good. I think he is deserving of being in very good. So I think I'll put him in here. Again, I wouldn't really look too much into the actual ordering of the tiers, but I don't know. He's probably, yeah, he's probably somewhere like in here. I don't know, one of these spots. Which, you know, if I'm looking at this, and if you're looking at this, let's just say this is ordered, right? It's which is not, but let's just say it is. If you're looking at this list before Zamasu drops and you see this, okay, he's ranked like, I don't know, like 10, 11, 12 overall or something like that, 9, 10, 11, 12 overall in the top 10 rankings. Are you content with that as a new summonable LF character? Personally, me, with 2 yellows being at the top of the entire game, I would say no. I would say no. I would not be content with that. That's kind of how I feel about this character. He definitely, you know, he can do a lot of damage. I feel like you can manipulate his gauge to where it is, you know, pretty good, but there's a lot of holes in his kit. There's a lot, and it feels like they just didn't test him enough, or they didn't do what they needed to do to have him be as effective. He's on boost, new LF character, very easy equips to get really, really solid equips for, like really easy setups to get solid equips for future powerful opponent regen, like incredibly powerful equipment. He's got really easy access to super strong Zenkai buffers. Like he's in a good spot right now. And there's like 2 crazy yellow ultras running around. And he's like here. So I think people probably expected me to put him a little lower than I did, but this is where I'll settle. I think something like this, again, I wouldn't really look too much into the order. It's very roughly done. I would even say just order doesn't matter here, but this is, I think, the list that I'll settle on for, you know, the top 3 tiers in the game right now. Great, very good, and good. Let me know what you guys think. Are there any placements you would switch in terms of characters being in these tiers? We are about to get the Zenkai for Purple LF Cell tomorrow. He's on here somewhere, right? Where is he? Right here. This guy's getting a Zenkai tomorrow. Would be pretty cool if they did a lot for this character. I think, you know, looking at the list, what's one thing he would really benefit from? Type neutral. Yay. Right? He's got to get that somewhere in his kit, I think. If they just gave him like 5 counts of type neutral on entry, both offense and defense, that would be crazy good. But yeah, we'll see what they do. Right now, as of February 4th, 2025, this is the list that I'm going to go with. I am actually hoping the meta stays good enough to where I can just continue to do these instead of top 10s, because to me, this is more interesting for the game. If there's actually like 15 to 20 characters that can all compete and have a decent chance of actually, you know, impacting the game, then that's an interesting environment to be playing the game in. And I think the meta is in a spot right now where having a list like this instead of a strict rankings is better. It's just, I think that is a better environment for the game. So we'll see if that's the trend that continues as we move through February. Let me know what you think. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.